Hello everyone, how are you all? I hope you can hear me okay. Change that. Let's check. We've got, well, there's a good few of you here already actually, that's brilliant. Hopefully you can hear me. I can see lots of friends here, lots of names that I recognise, which is great. Who do we have? We have, hi Teresa, hi Patricia, and Kathy, hi Lorraine. Oh, everyone's got good weather today by the looks of it, or dry weather. Patricia is a bit grey. It's nice and dry. It's dry here today, and actually the sun's come back out. Woke up to lovely blue skies this morning. Then it went a bit grey on the school run, and now it's nice and sunny again. Loud and clear. Oh, brilliant. Thank you, Kathy. Thanks for letting me know. Oh, hi, Tina. How are you? Thanks so much for having you all here. That's brilliant. So hi Linda, hi Valerie, hi Helen, how's you? Hi Rebecca and Laurie and Barbara. Okay, great. Thanks for joining me today. Right, as you can tell, today I am using the Christmas release that Lisa has designed for Spellbinders. Now, I only got these yesterday. So they came, so I've only had a sort of a quickish play with them, really. I didn't have a chance to use them yesterday, so I've had a quick play with them this morning. But what I've tried to do, I've tried to use everything here just to introduce you to them, just sort of see them in action. So there's some die cutting. You'll see all of the key pieces, the key dies put together, so you can see how they're constructed. So definitely for these two sets, which are like the intricate die sets, so you'll see how the tree's put together, and you'll see how these three ornaments or the festive baubles are put together. I'm going to be using some of the tags, hopefully. I've definitely cut one of these larger tags, but as long as I remember and I keep my head, hopefully I can use some of these smaller ones as well. And I am also going to attempt to use the BetterPress. Now, as I say, I only had these delivered yesterday, and so I've had limited experience with the BetterPress actually in my hand. I've had the BetterPress for a while, to be fair, but I haven't actually used it. So I was waiting for Lisa's designs to come through to me before I had to go. So I'll talk you through how I'm finding the BetterPress. The little go that I've had of it this morning, a couple of things which have come up. Nothing ominous at all, but I was just really surprised at how easy it goes through the die cutting machine. But I shall talk you through that as I go. So you can see on the side here the details of all of the Spellbinders sets that I have here in front of me, all of which I will hopefully try and use for you. This is one as well, you can see here. All available on Lisa's website, either as a bundle, a complete bundle, which will come with the Night Sky ink. They also, I believe, don't quote me on this, I know they definitely come individually, but I know they definitely come as a bundle with the dies, and also I think the bundle with the BetterPress plates as well. So there's lots of different ways for you to be able to buy this. So if you want to buy them individually, then you definitely can do that as well. So all the details are there on the side. I will also put that in the little information box under the YouTube video a little bit later on as well. Who else do we have? Oh dear, Drizzly Playground. Oh, that's a shame. Time to dry off with a cup of tea then, or a cup of coffee, Tina, I think, by the sounds of it. Hi, Vivian from a rainy Newcastle. Nice to have you here, Vivian, actually. It's not a name I recognise having. Hi, Bonnie. How are you? You love this set as well, do you? Yes, it's possible that you've possibly had more of a chance to play with it than I have. But this won't be the last live I do with this set. So as I have this on my desk for longer and get more of a chance to play with it and create sort of some really nice cards, I shall come on and either create videos or do lives with you with them later on, especially as we get nearer Christmas also. And I'll perhaps try and think of a few different ways that we can use them outside of a festive card as well, because I think there's a couple of things here, barring the snowflakes. I think these better press designs can definitely be used all through the year, as can the die cuts for these tags at least. And I think also we can use the bow, and we can use this sort of little stamp here. That can definitely be used for something other than Christmas. The tags for sure, and the frame as well. So yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a couple of ways that we can use this for a non-festive project. But say once these have been on my desk for a little bit longer and I get more of a chance to play with them, then I can sort of hopefully come up with some ideas for you. But it will just be nice for you just to see these in action today. And if you are new to the collection, then obviously it's a nice introduction for you, and also it will be a nice reference point in the future for those of you wanting to put these die cuts together. So I'm going to go through and do the die cutting with you as well, hopefully, just so as you can see it all sort of come together. Yeah, I agree, Bonnie. It definitely lasts for several months. There's so much to do. I mean, I'm going to try and get 3 cards made for you today, but that really is the tip of the iceberg. And of course, we have our Facebook group, the Craft and Release the Horton Facebook group, that you will share your cards with, obviously, but also the design team have a folder or an album that you can go and find, and on each release actually the design team put all of their samples from each release into the album, and it's usually named, so you can usually, the album for this particular one will be the Spellbinders for Christmas, or it will be the name of a particular embossing folder or the set of flowers that it contains or whatever. So that is always a really nice resource to go to get you started, as well as looking on Pinterest as well. Actually, if you look up the name of these sets on Pinterest, then you will find the design team samples as well, or the Lisa Horton Crafts. So as I say, I mean, you've probably all played with these way more than I have and got an awful lot more different designs already made up, but say this will be a nice reference point for anybody just starting out and sort of coming back into this set maybe in a couple of weeks or a couple of months time. So what I'm just going to do, I'm just going to take away that slide now, so we've got the whole screen to play with, and I can put your chat back on. Oh yeah, Tina, Tina, this is right up your street, isn't it? The samples that you've made with these are so pretty, and I think you incorporate all of your glitter cards, all of the holographic cards that Lisa's brought to us as well, your nesting dies. I'm just using sort of what's contained here, bar an embossing folder or 2, but bring in all the rest of your Christmas stash as well, whatever you have in your craft room, plus all of the other sort of releases and embossing folders, stencil kits that Lisa's given to us as well. There's so much you can do, so I'm only really going to scratch the surface with you today. So what I'm going to start with now is the festive ornaments, or the Christmas baubles here. They can be used as the ornaments. They have the hanging string here, but you can also use them without as well, I think. I'm just going to bring this one in here as well, because I'm going to team it with the frame from the nested tree set here. So what I've got, I've already done a little bit of die cutting. Where's my tweezers. Tweezers are my friends when I'm doing the die cutting. They really are. I can't work without them. I'm not a delicate die cutter, and I'm not delicate with my fingers when I'm doing all this die cutting. So these tweezers really are perfect, and these are the really sharp ones as well. So they actually serve to sort of poke out the die cuts from these smaller dies as well. So let me show you the die set that we have here. So most of the dies actually I've taken out at the moment, but this set for the baubles, it gives you, oh, there we are. It gives you the opportunity to cut every element basically. So let me do the die cutting as we go along. So I've already cut out the elements for these two ornaments here, and you can see those sitting there. So we shall come back to those in a minute. So I'm going to cut out the Christmas the pudding. So I've put this on glitter card. Let me see. Oh yeah, you can just about see that on there. So I'm going to do this die cutting here. It's nice to show you the die cutting as well sometimes, particularly when I can do it through the smaller desktop or the smaller die cutting machine that just sits nicely here. It just shows you the quality of the dies, and that they come out from the dies, released from the dies really easy, and they are really reliable. So you can see those dies here as I remove them. So I'm going to attempt to keep myself really organised. Here we are. So I'm going to put these back on as I go. So that's the Christmas pudding. Now I will keep that one out, but the circle one, because I will need that a little bit later. So here we have the holly leaves, the holly berries, given away by the red and the green. Actually, can you see that there? Maybe I need to put the light on. I don't know if this is going to work. I didn't check that this morning. I don't know what I'm connected to here. I think what I might do, I might be able to move that away. There we are, I can give us a bit more light there. Okay, so we have the holly berries, or the holly leaves, the holly berries, and we have the decorative string that they hang on there as well. And I'm using some of the silver holographic card for that small die as well. So we have the holly berries, which you can see have come out perfectly. The holly berries, they just release directly from the die as I pick those up. So I can remove those and put them back. Again, I'm going to attempt to keep tidy as I go along. I can move that to one side. Now this is such a really delicate die. You can see I've done that on the holographic cardstock. So we have the hanging section for the top of the bauble there. There we go. And we have this really delicate sort of chain, which has been die cut perfectly as well. And I think what I might do in a second, I might just get a piece of black card out, so I'm not going to lose these pieces. Ooh. Okay, there we are, back again. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to put that piece there, because then you'll be able to see these pieces that I've die cut out there for you. And you can say it's probably hard for you to see, but that is actually from the holographic card. So you can put those to one side, and I will use this actually to construct this on. So we're going to construct the Christmas pudding, really simple, straightforward. And also remember that we have the reference on the front of the packaging as well, which is always a really good guide. And it's the fact that Lisa does that in colour for us as well really helps out, especially on some of the more delicate dyes as well. Let me put this here. So I'm just using a fine tip glue, and I'm just going to glue that together and construct the Christmas pudding. Okay, now actually what I did do, what I wanted to do, okay, tree bark. I need to get some of my ink. So I've got the tree bark ink, and I've just got myself a stencil brush, and I'm just going to add a little bit of shading along the bottom of this Christmas pudding here. Now, ideally I would do this before I add the glitter part on top, but I can be really gentle. I'm just going to add a little bit of shade, and you don't need to do this if you're using a coloured cardstock, but it does add just that little bit of extra dimension to the die cuts that you're creating. So if I just show you that there now, we've had a little bit of extra shadowing along the bottom there, which once it's against a white cardstock, that will really sort of lift that shape. And then what we can do, actually, do I need to zoom in a little bit more to this? I'll do that a little bit more, a little gently for you. I'm just going to go black for a second. You'll still hear me, but I'm just going to focus the camera. But it does mean I have to go black in the meantime. There we are. So hopefully you can still see that now. Now, what we have here, we have our little hanging pieces that sit behind the bauble here. So I'm going to add that on first. I'm going to add the glue to that, and then sit the bauble on top of that. And then I want to add it first on this particular one because I want to arrange the holly leaves around the top of the Christmas pudding, but I don't want that little hanging loop there to be hidden. So just by adding that first, I can now pick up my holly berries, and I know that where I can position them in the best place. So you can see this comes together really, really quickly. So it'd be a lovely thing actually, even for the kids to do. But that's the delivery. I've been waiting for a delivery all morning. Actually, I've been waiting for a delivery since yesterday. And it sounds like he's just turned up. I really have to shout at him this morning. I'm hoping they're going to leave it at the door. So what I've done, I'll just add, we have the 3 holly berries sitting there. And they have a backing to sit them on, just to be able to control them all. So I've just added the 3 dobs of glue. Hazel isn't going to... Oh dear. Now I've signed out of the chat thing as well, so I can't see anything that you're saying. Do you know what? Some weeks just meant to test you, aren't they? You go ahead and comment on the Oh, brilliant, Bonnie. Thank you so much for that. That'll be really, really useful for people to find it. You might have to just bear with me 1 second. Stop. Stop. No. 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 That's enough. 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 Right. You come say hello. Right. We'll say hello to people. Hello. There we are. It's Hazel's head. Come to see what's going on. Right, apologies. Apologies for that. Okay. That's enough now, Hazel. Sit quietly. Sit quietly. Good girl. Good girl. I'll go and check that he's gone. Okay. Right, so where are we? Hopefully you're all still with me. I do apologise for that. I knew that would happen today. Right, where was I? Back with the Christmas pudding here. Okay. So let's just take that off there. So we are constructing the berries, aren't we? So we have the berries sitting here. So if I show you the dies again, with the berries, we have this just one die here, and you see the trefoil one here, which this is the base that we sit all the individual berries onto. So, so don't be confused with that. You don't have to add the berries, of course. Okay, so I've got the individual berries sitting there, and I'm just going to add them onto those each individual dots of glue that I added. Okay, so I'm hoping, are we all still connected? We're all, yes, it looks like we are. So hopefully you're all still here with me. And Hazel's gone quiet now, so that's all good. So we have our lovely Christmas pudding constructed there. So it comes together so quick, and you can die cut this as many times as you want. I'm going to be doing each of the ornaments just to show you how they come together, but there's nothing stopping you doing a whole set of just the Christmas puddings or the baubles, or whichever way you want it. So we also have the little strings here, and I shall add those onto the baubles in a second when I add them to the card. So I'm going to put that to one side, just there. Now we can see here that we have another bauble. I've already die cut this one, and just to keep some sort of continuity with the colours, I've also cut this one from glitter card, which, yeah, you can just about see there. And I've also cut the decorations from this from the same red that I've done in the berries. And that just simply and straightforward with a bit of glue just layers on top of your bauble sitting there. Now this is actually a really useful size circle die as well for any other, just in your crafting in general. I find to have these circle dies, it's just a really useful shape to have. So also I have my little ornament holder there, so I'm just going to add the glue to that. I find that an easier way, and layer the bauble over the top, so I know that I've positioned that in the right place. So again, that ornament is a really easy one just to lay, and again you can just like die cut lots and lots of these, all different colours, and layer them, and that in itself would be a lovely card too. Now for this last ornament that we have here, again I've used the circle die to cut the background, and that's from glitter cardstock. I've used this die here to die cut the polka dots, but I wanted to show you was, although I've die cut the polka dots, you do actually need to use this circle die to cut out those polka dots from the rest of your or from the background, otherwise it will just sit in. Now what you could do also, a slightly different way, you could take your polka dot die here, and you could just die cut straight through that disc, and that will give you a different version of the bauble as well. So yeah, there's different ways of using that. So I'm just going to die cut this green layer. I'm going to layer that up. through die cutting machine. So we can see here now that that just cuts out perfectly. We can add that back there. And all we need to do is just layer that on top of our glitter cardstock. So we have 3 baubles there, all coordinating with each other because I've used the same colour families to cut out all the different elements. Again, you don't have to do it that way. Have fun. And when you have time to do this, you may not just spend one day just using one of these sets and just come up with all sorts of different ways to actually create a card with them. So I'm rushing today really just to show you lots of different ways, but as I say, what I will do once I've had this on my desk for that little bit longer, I can come up with lots of different ways, perhaps use Lisa's festive tapestry papers and coordinate with it as well. Okay, so I'm making these small A6 cards today. So these are going to be really nice and super simple to pop in the post. I've also used the background here and the layering dies from the nested tree frame set. So I've used the bubble die, which is a lovely set. We've had this before, but not to this size, but this is a really useful size that will fit onto your A6 card. So I've die cut that from the green. Again, the whole of these cards, or all of these cards, are going to be all coordinated just simply with 1 or 2 festive colours, and I think it just brings the whole thing together really easy. Again, you'd be able to die cut some of these and perhaps even just set your kids down and they can create their own Christmas cards for family and friends as well. So I've also used these nesting dies just to cut these layers that will sit in the frame as well. So if I just take out the dies from here, this set actually, the Christmas tree set, you get an awful lot for your money. It's an awful lot of material, sort of metal there, so it really is good value. And again, it's something that you can use all through the year. And I think if you chose different colours and perhaps didn't put the snow on the tree, you could even use the tree for different times of the year also. But you can see how these layers are coming together. Again, I'm just using glue, just simply layering them. But again, you could 3D them, of course, with 3D foam or 3D glue as well. So we have simple frame onto your card there. So it really isn't hard at all. And then we can just layer the baubles sitting on the front of the card there. Now, you can use just the one, which I think works really well. You can layer 2. You can add all 3. Again, it's really is your choice as to how you work with those. So let me see. I might just add the 1 for this time, but I wanted to show you how the rest of the dies are put together. Now, what I will do, I'm going to add the chain first. And I'm going to add that centrally to the card. So I'm going to hang that from the top of one of the layers there. And then that gives me the opportunity to layer the Christmas pudding in any position I want to over the top of that chain, like so. And that is just a perfect Christmas card, isn't it, really? And I have these 2 ornaments that I can put aside, and I can use those on another card a bit later on. Now, we do need to have a sentiment, and so I'm going to put those away. I'll use that one a little bit later on. Now, we do need to have a sentiment on this. Now, what I'm going to do, I think, I'm going to bring in one of the BetterPress sets here, this one here, which has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets of sentiments on here. Now, they're all the Betterpress plates, the stamps, and we have a die to die cut out 2 of them. So what I'm going to do, I am going to leave that one side, and I'm going to delve into my next card so I can use the Betterpress plates all in one go, if that makes sense to you. Okay, so the next card I'm going to do is going to involve the foliage or the holly leaves that we've got here. So I'm just going to leave that sitting there. I will come back to this one in a second and put a sentiment on there in a little bit. So I'm going to bring in the Betterpress plate here. So I'll talk you through this briefly. They say this is the first time that I'm using this today, really. So we have our 4 magnets, which are super strong. I'm surprised at how strong they are. They're sitting on these little feet, which are springy. If I just show you from the side, I'll show you that they are springy like so, and each one is the same in each corner, and that's what allows the stamping platform motion really to as this plate goes through your die cutting machine. I do that, it actually presses down and presses the stamp onto your card. So that's how that works. Now I've also discovered today as well that this whole sheet is a magnet which lifts out. Okay, you don't need to lift, you know, it's not essential, but if you wanted to clean it or whatever, you could do. But it's also, I thought it was important if you needed to add some shims to this as well, which I did. Now, when you unpack your Betterpress, you'll get some other items in it as well. But they also give you these 3 plastic shims here. I've got 3 of them. I think they've each got their the branding on there. And I was wondering whereabouts I would use them, but I don't know, for some reason or another, I thought, does this lift out? But these shims actually all fit in really nicely under that magnet, like that, you see. So I thought that was a really perfect place. I need the shims because I use mine with a Big Shot, the Sizzix Big Shot. So I found that combination works really well. You'd need to have a little play with it just to see how your plate combinations work, particularly if you're using a different type of die cutting machine. So that's sort of the setup, and this is, you know, how to get to grips with your Betterpress plate. So what I want to do now for the second card that I want to make, I want to use the tag set. I want to use this press plate and die set as well. I want to stamp the holly leaves, the bow, and the sentiments also. So I've already cut myself a piece of cardstock from which I'm going to be die cutting all my elements. Now I've already taken out, what I need to do is take out the holly leaf stamp, and I'll need to put that onto my magnet here. Now before I do that, I need to sort of figure out where I'm going to be sort of orientating my cardstock so I know where to place the magnets underneath. So I'm just going to pop that down on the magnet to start with, and I want to stamp this holly set just round about here. So you can see what I've done there. I just held the stamp in place with my left hand. I've lined up my paper into this top corner here, so I know that that's a good reference point. And I'm just going to move that cardstock away because I don't need that there at the moment. So I'm going to place my holly leaves there. I know that I want to die cut that with a tag in a moment, so I'm just going to go ahead and get the tag from the tag set. I'm just going to place that there just as a reference point. because what I want to do also is to stamp the bow, but I don't want to get that into the way. So I'm going to move that, position that there. So I know that that's not going to get in the way of where I want to die cut from the tag. And also I want to add the merry and bright, some wording, just sentiments there. So I know if I put that there, that is not going to get in the way of any of the die cutting. And also, let me see. I'm going to take out the happy holidays on here as well. So these are the two small BetterPress plates, and I'm going to position those there, and it's that now I can remove my tag die, because this doesn't go through the BetterPress plate, and you can tell the difference because the BetterPress stamps or plates, or if you want to come, they're actually a silver colour, but the actual dies that you die cut with that go through your die cutting machine, they're in this lovely copper colour. So you know the difference between the two. So coming back to what I have on my BetterPress plate, I know that I've arranged all of these in a way that will fit under my cardstock that I'm using there. So now I need to attach my cardstock to the removable plate here. Now the markings on this removable plate do correspond to what is on the magnet. So if I put that back there, you can see everything lines up. So I was careful to make sure that I knew my cardstock lined up in the A2 corner here. So therefore I want to attach my cardstock to that corresponding A2 position on the lid here. So I'm just going to line those up, make sure it's all straight as possible. Move that over a little bit. Now what we want to do is, I'm just going to turn this over now. We need to secure the cardstock onto our removable plate. So the set does actually come, or the BetterPress does come with some lovely tape inside, so which is yellow. So I'm just going to use that just to attach my cardstock to the plate. And I'm just going to hover it over the top just to check that all the dies are contained with, and make sure that I've added my card in the right place. Okay, so now we're ready to add the ink. Now this is where I want to bring in the Swift Dry ink. So this is Lisa's new ink. This is Lisa's new stamping ink, I suppose I'd want to say. It's a hybrid ink. So it does mean that you'll be able to colour with both water-based markers and alcohol-based markers once this ink is dry. We've got three colours. We have Liquorice, we have Flint, and we have the Coffee Bean. So I'm going to use the Liquorice, which is a black. And all we do, we stamp or ink up these plates on our BetterPress platform the same way as we would with our stamps. So lots and lots of light tapping, just to make sure that we have got a really nice even coating of ink covering the design on our plates there, like that. Now these ink pads actually are slightly different to the interference ink pads because they are a lot firmer. So, and you'll feel that once you actually tap this on, they're quite solid. So there's not too much issue with over inking the designs there. So you'll see actually quite well there that I've actually covered those designs in the ink. So I'm just looking at that there. Now what I do, I add the plate on top here. Now this is now where I put this through the die cutting machine. So I'm going to bring in my Sizzix. So I have the big shots. Again, you will have to sort of look up the different plates, but there's a lot of information on that. And if you're unsure, there'll be plenty of people in the group to help you as well. Now, all I need to do is just, this plate as it is needs to go through the die cutting machine. Now you can see from the die cutting machine here, actually just put this way around so I've got the handle near me, that I'm not using any of the other plates. Now, initially I was a little bit unsure as to whether this would work, because when I put this through, there is hardly any resistance at all on the handle that I'm going. Let me see if I can show you. There is no resistance at all to the handle as that goes through the die cutting machine, and I wondered if that had actually worked, and I wondered if I needed more resistance, more of a shift, or more shims on this BetterPress plate. But I'm hoping this has worked again this time. So this is the first time I'm using this, so I'm still a little bit apprehensive. But I was amazed that when I'd done this first time round and checked that although it went through really easy, I still managed to get the impression that I needed on my cardstock, and it did work. It worked even then, and you can see the transference of Lisa's ink. We have got a perfectly crisp image there, and it went through the die cutting machine so easy. So I think what I'm trying to say is, if you have a BetterPress and you're not familiar with it, or you haven't used it, or you're thinking about getting one, that first time that you use it, don't try, or what am I saying? The BetterPress, this plate will go through and just glide through, and it will feel like it's not doing anything, particularly as you get used to using a die cutting machine, you have to sort of not force it through, but you feel the pressure once you're putting it through with the dies. That doesn't happen with the BetterPress. And again, I think that was my biggest shock to me this morning in finding that, and I just couldn't be happier with the outcome of it here. So you really didn't need any force at all. Now the only thing I did do there is put the tape in the wrong place, and so I've just made my word a little bit smaller than it needed to be, but that's completely my fault. That was completely user error there. So now what I will also show you, that it's these swift dry inks do react to water really well. So if you want to clean these plates afterwards, and even the plate here, your magnetic plate, if you get some ink on there, these react to water, and you can see how the water reacts there as I spray that. They clean up really easy. So although these are a hybrid ink and they end up to be sort of quite permanent when they're dried, they're still very easy to clean off of those plates there, which is great news actually, because I do like to keep my tools clean. So now we have this part here that we are now ready to die cut. So if I bring in this die, because that's how I lined that up initially. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put the die there, and I'm just going to trim around that so we can actually die cut this tag and die cut our bow out in a second. Okay, I can't actually see any of your comments. I do hope that you're still with me there. Looks like I have people watching, which is great. So I'm just going to go back to this BetterPress set now, and I'm just going to lift out the die for the bow. Let's just take that out. Okay, there we are. So I'm going to die cut out this holly with the tag. So we have that set on the corner. Okay. Now I like using these small dies because they go through this little die cutting machine as well, which is it's what I really enjoy about die cutting, if they can go through these little small desktop ones as well. It means I don't have to get up out my seat and move things about too much. So maybe that's quite lazy of me, but we all have our preference, don't we? So I'm just snipping these down. So I'm moving that BetterPress bow out the way and bringing in the die for the bow. So I'm just going to put that on there, find a bit of tape, just tape that into position, and then I'm going to bring in the wording as well, and this is what we have the dies for here. Let's move that on so you can see where I'm going. So we have Happy Holidays, so I'm going to put the dies there, position those in place gently, and getting another piece of tape so I can put those, keep those in position. Okay, and we can run those through. Okay, again, they're really, let's use the tweezers so we can get them out of there. So we have Happy Holidays die cut out. It's a really nice way to actually help you get used to stamping as well by using the BetterPress plate, because we have perfect results each time. And of course I'm using the black ink, but why not experiment with the gold ink and different things as well? So as I say, there's so much more that can be done as to what I'm actually showing you today. So we have our elements to put our tag together like so. Now just before I put that there, just before I put these together, what I want to do is just show you that these hybrid inks, to say I was using the Swift and Dry, and by Lisa developing these inks, what it's done is actually taken out the need for you to think about stamping and then in a black ink and then wondering which medium you need to use to colour over the top of. These hybrid inks, once dry, you can colour over the top with your Copic markers, your alcohol markers, and there's no smudging. And that's what I just want to show you here. But equally, if you wanted to watercolour these images, so long as you know that the ink is perfectly dry, you would also be able to do that as well. And that's all with this same ink. As say, it takes out the guesswork. That's what the hybrid ink does for you. It allows you to use a medium or any medium to colour your stamped images. And I think that is genius. It takes out all the guesswork, and it's something that I always had to stop and think about as well. Always had to wonder, am I what am I wanting to colour my image with after this? Have I used the right ink? Or no, is it going to smudge? But you can see here that I'm just colouring these really simply. I'm not doing any shading. I'm just going straight over the lines with an alcohol marker, and there's no smudging of those stamped lines at all. So hopefully that will give people a lot of confidence to start stamping as well. And so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to bring in the Festive. This is an interference ink, again limited edition. I'm just going to add a little bit of colour around the edge of this tag. I'm using a sponge because it's an interference ink, and I'm just going to add some colour around the outside, just to take the whiteness off the tag. And again, what you can see is by using this interference ink, it layers nicely over. Oh, can you see that there? Let's move that on a little bit more. It layers nicely over the alcohol inks that I've just used, or the markers that I've just used, but also over that swift dry ink. It's not smudging that at all. So we have a really nice, gorgeous tag there that we've stamped coloured, all with Lisa's products and inks. So that's the tag. I'm going to do the same with the bow here. I'm just going to colour that quickly with the markers. And you see on the bow here, actually, we have some larger areas of black ink, which I'm just going straight over the top of. You don't need to be too careful. Obviously, you don't want to go over the lines of the actual image, but if you have these dark areas within the image, you don't need to make sure that you don't go over those. The ink will take that. I'm just going to colour that bow in really simply. Again, I'm not doing anything fancy here at all. Just want to show you that that ink really does stay put, and then we can add our bow to the top of our tag, like so. So we have a really nice festive little ornament going on here, nice little festive embellishment. Let's put that to one side, and then if we choose to, that we could actually colour our happy holidays or not, but I'm just going to stick those on as they are. But hopefully you've got the confidence now that the swift dry ink, depending, you know, regardless of the colour that you want to use. I mean, I've used the black or the licorice, but it will work exactly the same for the other two colours, with the brown, which is the coffee bean, is it? Yeah, coffee bean, or even the grey in the Flint colour. So we have a lovely little tag that's going on here. So to create this into a card, again, I'm using an A6 card. Oh. And I've just cut down a layer for my A6 card, and I've just embossed that with the cinnamon sticks and oranges embossing folder. Now there are stencils for this particular image as well, and I've done other videos where I've shown you how those stencils come together, but I'm just using that white and plain today straight onto a red matten layer, really straightforward, straight onto the card like so. Using the tag from this set here, again, I've just used one of these tags, but there are 1, 2, 3, 4 tags of this shape in nested sizes here, but you also have these long banners as well to use. So there's so much more going on in that set than I've shown you today. And I've just used that same tag as I've used here to die cut from red and green. So I'll be able to layer all of those and just add those onto the front of a card. And again, you have a really simple but festive Christmas card sitting there. And to go back to this one here with a bauble, I stamped the Merry and Bright. There isn't a die for this one, but you could die cut this actually. Let's do that with one of these tags here. So let's use one of these pennant banners. Let's see if that one fits. That one doesn't fit, mainly because I've positioned it in the wrong place, but that's, again, that's my fault for that one. But what I might use is this one here. Does that work? Yes, that one works. Perfect. So I'm just going to die cut this sentiment which again, remember I used and stamped from the Betterpress stamp from this set here, the Essential Tag Essential. So these two are actually work so well together. If you were to buy individuals and you wanted to know where to start, or just a quick intro or dipping your toe into Betterpress crafting, then these two are a really nice set together, I think. And it will see you all through Christmas and all Christmases as well, actually. So I can just stamp that stencilment and die cut that out, and that is ready to be added to my card there. And these are really nice, unusual tags, actually. These are tags that I haven't actually seen in Lisa's die combinations before, actually. So we've got, it's really useful. And we've got a really nice card sitting there. So there we go. We have the two cards. Now, why? Perhaps if I can just take up a little bit more of your time. Move these aside, and I just want to show you the Christmas tree set. Where are we? Oh yeah, so we come back to this set here. We can move those up there. I'll keep that sitting there. So I just want to show you how this Christmas tree is put together. So I've already die cut these. I can bring those in here, and I'm just going to do this in a really different colorway, as you can see here. I'm using Lisa's new holographic, rainbow holographic card. So I've actually die cut these trees from the same piece of card, but look, they look completely different colors. So I've already put one of the trees together for you. So let me show you the dies that we have here. We have the tree dies that come as 3 parts, like so. So we start off with the main tree, which again you could just use as is. You don't necessarily have to do with the rest of them, but if we want to layer them together, let's get my tweezers, here we are. So we start off with the main one, then we just layer the different components of the tree in size order, and again they fit together so well. It makes a lot of sense when you actually put them together. I've used the same cardstock, but you could use design paper for this. You could use 3 different layers. Again, you could even emboss the layers, I think, before you add them together. Now you'll see from this tree here, I've added the snow detail, but there's actually 2 different ways to actually create this tree. We have this tree here, which is what I've done already with the snow detail, and these 2 sets of dies here is what creates those. So we have this die which creates the snow detail, which has like the uneven edge at the top, or we can create the tree which has garlands on it, I suppose, and that will be this die here, where the actual elements, the 3 elements, are a lot more regular. They're not wavy as such. So when you die cut them here, I'll just show you the difference, and you lay them in different positions. So this would be how the 2 trees look that are very different. So one has the snow, which has the wavy areas, and this other one has like this more straightforward garlands on there. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to make these 2 trees quite different, just so I can show you the difference. So I'm going to put the garlands on this one, and you just position them in the place where those garlands fit. Okay. And that one up the top there. too much glue on there, but that will dry clear. Now we also have the tiny little rectangle here, which will be the trunk of the tree. So I can, oh, now that's me being clumsy. I picked that up in the wrong position and my garland came off of there. Let's use my tweezers. There we are. So we have our lovely two little lovely trees put together. So they're really straightforward to do. Again, I'm making an A6 card, and I've created one layer with the decorative pearls embossing folder. Really pretty, that one. This looks stunning when you use it with the holographic card as well, but I'm just sticking with that on the white today. So I've used the nesting dies here to create a white panel and a frame. Now what I think I might do, how are we for time? You could, I won't do it now actually, because I'll do this in another set, but what you could do is use these BetterPress plates to actually create a background pattern, because the largest frame that we have in our Christmas tree set here fits perfectly on those BetterPress plates. So you could stamp one of these designs onto the BetterPress plate here actually. Shall I do that? Yeah, do you know what? I think I might just do that really quickly. Let's move everything out the way. Thank you for sticking with me. That was, I had a bit of an interruption, didn't I, halfway through? Otherwise I wouldn't be running over time quite so much. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to take one of these BetterPress plates. I'm going to take this star one in the background here. I'm just going to take that off. Put that on the plate, and I'm going to use the Flint actually. I was going to use the silver, but I'll just use the Flint ink in the background, so it'd be the grey, so this won't be quite as dark as the Liquorice, but I'm going to ink that up. And I'm going to take a piece of cardstock which I've already cut down to size. Now, because I'm going to die cut this out, I'm not too fussed at the positioning of the cardstock over the top of that, as long as I know that it's going to hit that design. So I'm going to put my cardstock on there, layer that up, and then I'm just going to run this through my big shot machine. And again, I still can't get over how easy that goes through. It really doesn't feel like it's doing anything, but I think I'm going to have to start getting a bit of confidence in that. So let's turn this over. Yes, it really has stamped. Again, you'll be amazed actually, if you haven't used the BetterPress, you'll be amazed at how easy it goes through your machine. But again, don't be fooled, and I think it's actually going to take me a little bit of time just to have that confidence that it is actually working the way that it should. So what I am going to do now actually is to cut that down to size and die cut this design out. Now I need to cut this down quite small because it will just about go through this small machine that I have sitting beside me. But the advantage of die cutting it out is that I have the lovely stitched edge around the outside. And that just about fits on that plate. How brilliant is that? Now that one I did test out a little bit earlier on, so I knew that that would work. Okay, so we can die cut that out. So we have that lovely die cut stitched edge around the outside with that lovely stamped detail. That's using the layered or the nesting frames that we have there. And I'm going to stamp or add the frame around the outside. Now I've cut this frame again from the same rainbow holographic cardstock that I die cut the trees from, so that's all coordinating. I'm just going to add that to my background here. Let's just make sure that they line up like so. There we are. And that is going to sit pretty in the middle of the cardstock there. Now I think it would have worked also with the plain aperture, but I did want to show you how those Betterpress backgrounds worked. And again, it won't be the last time that I'm using those, because I really like the way that they look, and especially using different colours as well. So I can bring in the two trees and I can just layer those on the top of there as well. So we have that card number 3. We do have some extra little snow detail that we can use. We die cut those out when we cut the snow from that sits on the tree. So we have those 2 little features that sit there as well. You can obviously cut those out from glitter cardstock. That would be so pretty. I'm just going to layer those on like so. Actually, I think that one only needs the one. And then we have our little star that can sit on top of our tree like so. Oh, can you see that there? Let's move that up. Now I won't have a chance to stamp the sentiment from the festive circle sentiments, but I've shown you how the Betterpress works, so you'd be able to stamp these out in exactly that same way. So I shall do that and finish those cards off for you, because as I say, I'm running a little bit over time there. But that is just 3 really, really quick and simple cards that you can put together with Lisa's Spellbinders Christmas. Again, super simple. I've just gone with a really clean and simple colour palette there, but it means that you can bring your Christmas cards together really, really quick, and you have the confidence of stamping with your Betterpress plate. Again, you can have a lot of fun with that depending on the inks that you use. Again, it's the first time that I'd used that today, so having heard so much about it, it was nice to actually finally get my hands on them and actually get stamping with it today. So I really enjoyed doing that. Thanks so much for joining me today. I hope you are still with me. Apologies for the delay in the middle. Do carry on sharing all of your projects. I'm sure many of you have these and have had these for far longer than I have, and have got some wonderful projects to share into the group. So we love to see those. I won't be with you on Thursday this week. I've got a really busy week on this week, but do keep a lookout for Lisa on Friday, and who watched her on her Chanda, not her Chanda, sorry, on Hobby Maker yesterday on her debut shows. It's really nice that she had the time to demo, wasn't it? Actually had the time to demo and show her products and get excited for what she's designed. And I know that she would have enjoyed doing that for you as well. That's what crafting's all about, isn't it? So enjoy the rest of your week, everybody, and I shall be back with you again next week. Thanks for your company, and take care.